G'day everyone, Dave here. This is a quick note for parents. I've just released the first episode of Running the Race. It's a monthly, short, biblical encouragement podcast for parents. It's available to everyone who has a Super Club membership. There are 2 sections in an episode. The first section is a reflection on a truth from the Bible to help you keep going in trusting Jesus as you parent your children. In this episode, I talk about the goodness of weakness and how that brings us back to God. The second section is an Ask Me Anything section, where any listener can send in a question for me to answer. The question this time was about navigating who decides which church you go to, parents or kids. To give you a taste of the episode, here's a short segment. We're weak for all sorts of reasons. We're weak because of our time. We can't spend all the time we want with our kids. We're weak because of our limited money and resources. We're weak because we can't control the things in the world that impact our children as hard as we try. Most of all, we're weak because of our sin. We don't love God or our spouse or our kids the way we should. If you feel like a weak parent, you're not mistaken. You're not just being negative or pessimistic. You're seeing things the way they really are. And I want to encourage you that weakness is a really good thing. I mean, not your sin, obviously, but if you recognize your sin and you recognize all your other weaknesses, that's really great. It's really good for you. God's actually made us weak so that we know that we're not God. He's strong. We're not. His eternal plans work. Ours sometimes don't even last the day. He's always awake. We need to sleep. He lives forever. Our lives, in this world at least, will come to an end. Seeing our weakness is so good because it drives us back into the loving arms of our faithful God. When the Apostle Paul was inflicted with a thorn in his side, he tells us he pleaded with the Lord 3 times, asking for it to leave him. Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "But he, God, said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness.'" That's why Paul loved boasting not about his power and strength, but in the amazing power and strength of God. If the gospel was spreading, it was because of God. If people were being saved, it was because of God. If Paul was used mightily, it was because God was working through him. It's the same for us as parents. We aren't strong, but God is. In Psalm 46 verse 1 it says, "God is our refuge and strength, a helper who is always found in times of trouble. Therefore, we will not be afraid, though the earth trembles and the mountains topple into the depths of the sea, though its water roars and foams and the mountains quake with its turmoil." No matter how big the problem, no matter how scary the situation, God is our strength and refuge. So when you feel weak, great. That's the time to pray. That's the reminder to ask God to deal with the situation. That's the prompt to not rely on yourself, but rely on Him. It's also the reminder to do that with our kids, to teach them not to rely on themselves, but to rely on God, to rest in His arms, to know the joy and comfort and power of our loving Heavenly Father. So enjoy your weakness and enjoy your powerful God. I hope you enjoyed that snippet of Running the Race, a biblical encouragement podcast for parents. If you sign up to the Super Club, you'll be able to access Running the Race, as well as every episode of Stories of a Faithful God for Kids, and also Bible in Your Brain, a podcast for families where we have fun memorizing Bible passages. There's so much value for you and your family in there, head to the shop at faithfulgod.net. There's a link in the show notes. Bye for now.